The Bills fall 23-20 to CJ Stroud. Fairbairn, what, a 59-yarder to win it? That's kind of crazy. Oh, yeah, I was completely with you, Jack, at the end of that game. Run out the clock,
I don't know what
Buffalo.
they were doing.
Run out the clock.
It's like they didn't know the score.
You're buried in your zone, like three timeouts.
I think they might have actually thought they were losing. I'm serious. Like, why? There's 16 seconds left.
For anyone,
Houston has 2 timeouts and Buffalo's throwing the ball.
Three. For anyone who's not really aware what was going on here, it's late in the game. Buffalo had the ball on their 5-yard line, 6-yard line, something like that.
You like 20 seconds.
Was it like 40 maybe?
They
40
just had 40 seconds. You're at the 3.
Okay,
40 seconds at the 3, and they just had 3 straight incompletions, and that gave the opportunity for Houston to get the ball back with 7 seconds, and they had a completed pass and kicked the game-winning field goal because they were able to call a timeout there. If you run the ball 3 times, make them use their timeouts, Houston's not going to be able to kick it. I mean, at least they're kicking a 62, 63-yarder instead.
They took
65-yarder.
They took only 9 seconds off with 3 incompletions.
Yeah, I didn't get it.
Well, they took 20 seconds off.
Yeah, no, I didn't really understand what
20?
the thought process was. I guess it had to be, hey, maybe we get a first down here, and we can try and win the game ourselves, or just run out the clock and go to overtime if we get 1 first down. But I would have put the pressure on Fairbairn. I mean, 59 yards is a crazy field goal, but you're not kicking a 66-yarder.
But
Probably not hitting that.
I understand if you start the drive at your own 30 or your own 25, not backed up in your own end zone.
I thought they might even have a safety.
Yeah, that was at risk, of course.
A holding penalty, it's a safety. Ziggy, you didn't seem to mind it, though.
I don't mind throwing once there. You try and catch them off guard. Maybe you get a really big play, whatever. Once that doesn't work, I think you've got to it didn't work. You move on. I definitely mind throwing 3 times. Look, in that situation, I get that it's not very exciting. But if you've only got, if you're going to overtime, you say, look, we got a 50% chance of winning. We're playing about as well as they are. And importantly, right, it's not like the Bills' offense have been lighting the world on fire before this. It's not like you have good reason to believe that if you just complete 1 pass, that's going to work. Look, Josh Allen on this game was 9 for 30.
Yeah, that was
He
crazy.
completed less than a third of his passes. The chances that you're going to get together a giant drive off of Josh Allen completing a bunch of passes is just unlikely. So go for it once. Yeah, fine, whatever. Maybe you get lucky. Maybe they're sleeping because they sell out on the run trying to get a safety. But once that doesn't work, take a couple knees, punt the ball, and move on with your life.
And if you told me Josh Allen was 9 for 30, I would have said Houston probably blows them out.
They were for
they were.
portion
Right.
of this game.
They were. Yeah, they were.
The Bills, though, I'm actually starting to have some real concerns with Buffalo because at 3-2, we were all talking about them as, I think most people had them number 1 in their power rankings through 3 weeks, beating the Cardinals, Dolphins, Jaguars. Well, Dolphins aren't, they beat up the Dolphins, but they look horrible at this point. The Jaguars are struggling, and especially when they played Buffalo. And then they played, the 2 contenders, and Houston really had their foot on their necks for most of this game. Buffalo did come back. I mean, they made it a game, but it's starting to feel more like Buffalo's one of those teams. Bless you.
Oh, gosh.
Starting to feel like Buffalo's one of those teams that gets it going for a while, and when they do, they're very, very good. But you could really, do some damage to them when they're off.
We were talking last week how I thought when they were in Baltimore, the lack of I guess, star power kind of showed.
There's just nothing in the receiving game.
Yeah, I mean, and when you have Josh Allen, you'll be in most games. But Josh Allen, while he may seem like a superhuman, I mean, he's a human, just me and you.
No one had more than 2 catches.
Yeah, but
They didn't have elite NFL wide receiver Khalil Shakir.
When Josh Allen struggles too, and there's no star power,
It's still impressive that they lost to Houston.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you lost by 3 points, but at that point, you might as well throw in the white flag.
Somebody tell me, the Bills had positive offensive efficiency. They weren't negative. I don't understand how that is possible when you are completing less than a third of your passes and don't have that good a run game. But, it's easy to focus on the Bills and everything they did wrong. I think not enough attention is likely to be paid to the Texans and what they did right. Even though, the Bills didn't have their best game, they're a tough opponent, even if they're coming into your building. And CJ Stroud and the Texans offense, particularly the passing game, stepped up and were able to get it done today.
No, I thought
without Nico Collins for most of it.
Completely agree with you. Throughout most of this game, while I was watching, I was thinking this is the version of the Texans that everyone's been waiting for, where they just look unstoppable. And Nico Collins, he did get hurt, and I think he stayed in. This game might play out a little differently. He's been that good this season. But this was the version of Houston where you had Stephon Diggs contributing. Nico Collins, he's the best receiver on the team by far right now. Tank Dell got a little bit involved, which was nice to see. Joe Mixon wasn't even playing. I mean, that's another huge weapon, a huge weapon on Jack's fantasy team as well. But I was watching this thinking, okay, to me, Houston has more upward potential as the year goes on than Buffalo, who kind of seems that maybe we've seen what the Buffalo ceiling looks like this year.
This is also a big game for Houston. They've been a little bit shaky. I haven't been sold on them to start the year, and I'm sure other people haven't as well. Now you host the Bills, kind of their first, maybe real test against a team who people think can go to the Super Bowl. And to win this game, really be in control for the most part, too, and defend your home field.
I mean, until the end. It was close at the end.
Yeah,
Buffalo
but
had the chance to take the lead.
It was 14-0 to start the game. Like, they came out and they were... And
it was 14-3.
But to win a game, defend your home field against the Bills, that's a big win for them.
Is that harsh, Ziggy, to say Buffalo maybe has hit their ceiling?
I think that is harsh.
It feels a little harsh.
They've played good games, but here's what you have to do if you're Buffalo. CJ Stroud had 2 huge throws in this game, right? Times where he's trying to lose in the game late in the fourth quarter. 8 minutes left. Throws an interception. It's 20-17. Bills don't score any points. 4 minutes left. 20-17. CJ Stroud fumbles the ball. You're not able to get a touchdown. Like, those 2 turnovers almost sunk the game for Houston. The Bills needed to take advantage of that. And frankly, I think the Texans should count themselves lucky that off of 2 critical turnovers, the Bills only scored 3 points.
Oh, absolutely. As you were watching towards the end there, it did feel like Houston was starting to give it away. And this was a big game, too, because we're assuming these 2 teams will be division winners as we get into the divisional round, which both of these teams expect to get to at some point. I mean, this could be the one that determines where that game is being played. And if you're Houston, would you rather go play in snowy Buffalo outside, it's -2 degrees, or get at home in your building with all the speedy weapons they have and the passing attack? Huge win.
Snowy Buffalo and 2 degrees.
Yeah,
that's where real men play in January. Yeah, I'd rather play.
I mean, that's not what the Houston Texans want to play.
No, I'd rather
have to cancel the game.
I'd rather play there if I'm Houston.
Buffalo's tough. I mean, they're tough in that building, except if you're Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's the one dude that you don't want coming into your building.
I mean, they spanked us last year in the playoffs.
So 23-20, Houston wins there. It was nice for Texans fans to finally see that team look better, because even though they were 3-1, I think there was a lot of noise around them for the past.
Yeah, I
the
agree.
whole season.
I mean, even though Buffalo also played bad and Houston barely beat them.
But
But it's a big win. It's to beat the Bills, beat Josh Allen. It's a good win.